Welcome to day 3 of Technology Lit Week. Today, our focus is on research tools in Google. Google has created some tools that will allow research to become a much faster, easier process. So, I'm going to lead you through some of the tools very quickly, just so you can get a good feel for what's available to you at your fingertips. So, first, we're going to go to Tools. And then we're going to go ahead to click on research. So once again, that was tools, and then we went to research. You'll notice that this little toolbox appears off to the side. And when we first look, we see G, of course, G for Google. And so today I'm focusing in on a research project dealing with Mark Twain. And so as I type that in, you can see that it's going to come back with multiple hits. This is everything that you would find under a basic Google search. And also it's providing some broken out areas. I've got some quotes from Mark Twain. I've got some pictures from Mark Twain. Down below, I have some websites from Mark Twain. And so you can see we have a lot of materials at our fingertips. And so first and foremost, before we go anywhere, I want to talk to us about or talk to you about the citation format. That's the great thing about this particular tool. It will allow us to adjust our format style, and it gives us three offerings: MLA, APA, and Chicago. I'm going to maintain MLA, and as we look here at our resources, we're going to look first at the what is offered with regular web results. And so here I see the website location. It's giving me the link. I could link to it. And then here, if I click on preview, I can see the preview of the website location. That makes it very nice. It gives you and the user a feel for what that website looks like. If I want to insert this as a link into my presentation or my notes, I can click on insert link. And now this link that's here is over here on my page. The other thing that I can do is I can go ahead and click on cite. So let's just say, you know what, I do want to cite this as a source. And so it's going to put that little number 1 by that website location. And here it gives you the footnote that tells me that that's the official website location. Now I'm going to go ahead and push in enter. Well, what if I want to be very focused? I'm not just looking for absolutely everything. What if I am looking for images? So I find an image and I can make it very simple. I'm going to click and literally drag, and I want to keep that right above the line. It works so much better. You won't have complications if you keep everything above the footnote line. Notice it's tagged this with a number 2. So here was my number 1, here's my number 2. And of course, it corresponds down here with my footnotes. And now I know that this picture came from this location. And so now I have a website location, I have a picture location. I'm going to go ahead and push my enter. And I've taken care of my picture. Now notice before we leave this location that you can actually filter this in two ways. Not filtered by license, which means we're going to have access to anything and everything that's out there. That's very popular, but if you're actually creating a presentation where you have to be concerned with utilizing copyrighted materials, then maybe your next best bet would be this one, which is free to use, share, or modify, even commercially, because all of these pictures have some sort of licensing information associated with it. And here you can see how it has adjusted to materials that are free to use, share, and modify. So that takes care of the picture portion. Now we're going to go to Scholar. So Scholar is a great way to find out information from more scholarly resources than what you might find on just a regular Google search. And so here we have all sorts of scholarly materials. As I hover over this first one, it shows that it's a PDF, shows how many times it was cited, and it shows that I can cite this as a footnote. I can insert this. First, I'm going to go ahead and insert this, and it's showing an actual bibliography citation for an article that was written about Mark Twain. If I want to cite this as a footnote, I can go ahead and click on Cite as a footnote and notice what's happened. My 3 appears here, and then a portion of it goes to my footnote structure. So this is a great way to access some journals, some PDFs, even possibly a book or two, depending on your subject area. So you can go to Scholar for some more scholarly materials. And of course, one of the best things about Mark Twain is that he always has a good quote or two to offer. So before I bring that in, I wanted just to bump my cursor down. And so I have a lot of quotes that might be helpful to you, helpful to me, helpful to my paper, my research, whatever. And so here I've got a quote that seems to be appealing. I'm going to hover above it. I'm going to go ahead and click on Insert. And now I have a lovely quote that comes from Mark Twain, and it's also automatically cited. Then I could go ahead and continue down here to the dictionary. The dictionary, of course, if we had a reason to identify Mark Twain, but if I typed in dogs, and I can do that really quickly, we'll go ahead and type in dogs. Not quite sure why we'd be interested in that, but we can go ahead and put that in. And then I now have access to the actual word, how it's utilized, a brief definition, etc. So that's a great tool for your students at their fingertips. If for some reason I felt that there might be a table of information, I can find information regarding my subject. I don't know that Mark Twain is a good choice for this, but we're going to go ahead and click here. And so we've got Mark Twain, authors of the adventures. It's part of a Goodreads table. And so here I can go ahead and cite this as a source if I would like. I can go ahead and export this item, and it really is helpful if you export it so that you can make use of it, because if you notice we drag here, try to highlight it, try to drag it over like a picture, it's not going to work for you. You really do need to focus on exporting this document, and then you can work on bringing it in, because it will allow you to have access to this, and then you can export it to Google Sheets, which is a great place for that. So that's one way that the table can be helpful to you. Just realize that you need to export that information. Now let's talk about something else that can be helpful to you, that we actually have a paid for subscription. Not that you're paying for this component, but it is a component that can be very helpful. And so here I'm going to go ahead and close my research tab, and then I'm going to go up here to my add-ons, and I have added EasyBib Bibliography Creator, and I'm going to click on Manage My Bibliography. Here we have EasyBib, which is a paid-for product in the district, but for you with this particular component, you don't have to pay for it. It is a rich resource that allows you to do more than what you see here. As you look here at the bottom, you can see that you have a very strong footnote structure. However, with EasyBib, it gives you a chance to create an actual citation page or a bibliography page. And here it's offering books, journal articles, and websites for you to incorporate into your Works Cited page. And so we're going to show you how simple this is. As you look here under EasyBib and if you want to work with a book, I was working with Mark Twain earlier. We're going to continue with that. I type in Mark Twain, I do my search, and as I look down, I have an autobiography of Mark Twain. That's the one I used for my research paper, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Here I have that information available here. If I need to X out of it, I can. If I want to include a journal article about Mark Twain, I'm going to go ahead and do that by just typing it in and selecting. I'm going to scroll down until I find the one that was appropriate, and I had Going West, Roughing It. I will select that, and it's been added. Going West, Roughing It is here. And if I want to bring in a website, I had a website up earlier. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that, copy it using Control and V. I'm going to go ahead and paste it, and then I will go ahead and click on Search. It comes back with one hit. I click on Select, and now I have all three of my resources here. If I want to add this to my document, my cursor is actually down here towards the bottom of the page. I can click here on Add Bibliography to Document, and now I have my Works Cited page here at the bottom in correct MLA structure. So as you can see, this is a very fast, easy tool to work with. One thing I would like to point out, you do have access to more than just MLA, APA, in Chicago. The choices are amazingly long within this particular tool. And so that is a tool that can help you and your students with research. I would like to point out one more thing. So if I were to go to my apps section in Chrome, if I wanted to access easily an encyclopedia, all you have to do is to add this app to your Google Apps section if you're working with Chrome, and Britannica School will allow you to access the free resources for Encyclopedia Britannica within our district. And the username for that would be WSD3, and the password would be books, BOOKS. I hope this research tutorial was a fast, easy introduction for you with regard to how to work with Google tools when you're dealing with research. They are fast, easy, and simple to work with, as you can see. Thank you very much.